Yanik here for Yanik's Photo School, and today I'm going to give you some tips on how to protect your DSLR from sand and dust, especially sand. We all love to go to the beach and take our camera with us and take pictures of our family or seagulls, or maybe you're traveling to an exotic location like the Sahara Desert and you want to take the best possible shots. But your worst enemy is sand. It's worse than water, it's worse than dust. So you gotta protect your gear from sand, and you gotta pay the price to protect it as well. I mean, your camera body is probably worth $1,000, maybe $2,000, maybe even more. And investing in a solution to protect your gear from sand is vital. All right, now let's start with tip number 1, protecting your lens. So what do you do to protect your lens? Use a UV filter, super important. Now, the UV filter I have on almost all my lenses. The reason for that is to protect it. I mean, anything can happen, you can be dropping your camera, but specifically for sand, if sand is blowing, if there's wind and sand gets into your lens, it could actually scratch the lens surface permanently. So you'd rather scratch a $20 or maybe $100 UV filter and being able to replace that instead of replacing your lens. We all know that your lens will remain with you even after you've changed bodies a couple of times, so protecting your lens is super, super important. All right, tip number 2 now, protecting your camera body. Now you can do that 2 ways. There's a cheaper alternative which works still really well, and I'll put the links down below in the blog post, is to have a bag that protects from all weather conditions, including water, sand, dust, you name it. So you can check out those and put those directly on your DSLR. And the other option is a housing. Of course, putting a housing can be pretty expensive depending on your DSLR body. So if you're a professional photographer and you plan on using a housing for other situations, then go ahead and get one. If not, I would recommend the bag. It's usually at around $100, $150, and it's well worth it. Tip number 3, get a cooler to put your gear in, not your camera bag. Your camera bag is like a magnet for sand. It has nooks and crannies everywhere, and you'll never be able to get the sand out after that. So get a small portable cooler, get it at any store, and it's really worth the investment, especially if you're shooting and you have to put your stuff down on the sand, like at a beach. So get a cooler and put everything in there, close it up, and you'll be fine. Tip number 4, ziplock the heck out of every piece of equipment that you're bringing with you. Super important. Even if you have a cooler or your camera bag, you'll be opening it, and if wind comes in and blows sand in there, it'll get into your gear, guaranteed. So I ziplock every piece of equipment. You can get small ziplock bags. They work really fine for wires and lens caps or smaller pieces of equipment, or you can even get bigger sized ones. These are vacuum sealed bags. You don't have to vacuum seal it, but at least seal them up. Tip number 5, last but not least, don't change lenses on your body. If you need to have a couple of lenses, try to have a couple of bodies. If not, try to get a more versatile lens that'll give you the range that you need. I usually bring my 18 to 200, and that's pretty good for any shot that I need to take when I'm either traveling or at the beach. So remember, do not change your lens. It's the worst thing you can do. You never know, wind can swipe in, bring some sand on your sensor, and your sensor is toast. Now, if you're not shooting professionally, you might consider not bringing your DSLR with you. I rarely do bring my DSLR with me now because the quality of images on an iPhone or any smartphone now is really, really, really good. And it's easy and cheap to get a case for your camera phone. Here's my example. This is my waterproof, sandproof case that I have. It's super simple. I can actually leave my thin case on my phone, flip this open, put it in, clip it up, and there you go. I can go into water with this. It's full protection from all the elements. All right, remember that. And it cost me $20. There are different alternatives, and I'll be putting a list of them down here on the blog post. You can also get an action camera like the GoPro. This has what they consider a bomb-proof casing, so it's for everything, including dust, sand, and water. So I always bring my GoPro with me too. You never know when you're going to use it. It's so small and compact as well. So with a GoPro and my smartphone, I can pretty much get all the imagery I need. I hope these tips really helped you out, and until next time, happy shooting.